On top, Satu with 3 on the shot clock. Nothing but the bottom of the net.
We're heading all the way up to Indy. Let's get it. Let's go. August 3rd, 2025. The Wall Street Journal published a highly influential article titled, "The WNBA and Caitlin Clark's Civil Rights," written by Sean McLean. This op-ed alleged that Caitlin Clark, now a star for the Indiana Fever, has faced a hostile work environment due to excess physical targeting, uncalled abuse, and insufficient protection by league officiating. The piece suggested that if the WNBA fails to act, the federal government should intervene, citing the Civil Rights Act and the precedent set by the Supreme Court in Harris v. Forklift Systems, 1993. Immediately afterwards, ESPN's Stephen A. Smith discussed the allegations on his show, amplifying debate throughout the sports world and social media. Smith supported the argument that there is a legitimate case for federal intervention, explaining, "I'm not saying the case will definitely be won if it gets that far, but there is a case. There is an argument," and warned that the federal government, especially under President Donald Trump, may pursue a probe if enough evidence surfaces. Smith and other commentators noted the case's political overtones. If Trump sees the controversy as politically expedient, he may use it to rally his base. Smith made clear that the matter could grow into a national and even international issue. Of Clark's treatment is found to be a flagrant outlier compared to other WNBA stars. Ongoing media and political pressure, the issue has continued to escalate, with Fox News picking up the story and emphasizing that WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert may be held accountable if law enforcement or Congress steps in. This has created significant pressure on both the league and its leadership to address the situation publicly and substantively. Legal allegations. The central claim is that Clark is intentionally and disproportionately targeted on the court, which, if proven, constitutes a hostile workplace and potentially a civil rights violation under federal law. Statistical disparities, data and expert testimony suggest Clark suffers more hard fouls and physical targeting than any other player in the league, supporting the hostile environment claim. Political dynamics. Smith and other voices argue that federal involvement is possible, especially given Trump's history of intervening in high-profile civil rights cases and settlements. League response. There has been no formal WNBA investigation announced yet, but growing public and media scrutiny continues to put pressure on league officials and referees to change how the game is policed and to institute more transparent officiating practices, such as public last 2-minute reports, already used in the NBA. Clark's comments. Clark herself has said, "Everybody is physical with me. They get away with things others don't." Then just yesterday, I think we saw what might be the final stab in the back for the WNBA commissioner. Fox News directly targeted her, putting the responsibility for this situation squarely on her shoulders. And I'm telling you guys, listen to this. They're talking about civil rights violations. I kind of like what Stephen A. Smith said there. I don't know about civil rights violations, but is there something the league can do to stop this behavior toward Clark? I don't think the league has almost done zero. They've almost done said nothing. You don't even hear any outrage if this was out of this was the guys and they were beating up a LeBron? Adam Silver would have spoken out already. I don't know what's happening. Now, y'all heard that, right? You heard him loud and clear. He straight up said if this was the NBA, or if it was one of the guys, Adam Silver would have been on the mic last year. No hesitation. Last year, and here we are right now with Kathy still silent, and I've been saying this over and over again. Kathy, where's the statement? What's the holdup? Why you keeping quiet? I've been digging into this for a while. And let me tell you, Kathy's not just keeping her mouth shut for no reason. She's nervous. And that's because this whole thing connects back to what I call the Yukon Blue Blood Whistle. The Yukon Mafia. Yeah, they run the WNBA. They got hands in everything. And here's the truth. Gino is at the top of that food chain. The man's like the mastermind behind it all. And you know what? He's not happy that Caitlin Clark stole all the spotlight. You got to understand, Paige Bueckers is basically his prized creation, his basketball lab experiment, and she's great. I'm not knocking Paige, but she's not Caitlin Clark. And that's what burns them up. UConn's been used to controlling the spotlight for decades, dominating, getting all the headlines, all the star power. And then Caitlin comes in from the outside and breaks the whole system. This is jealousy. Straight up jealousy. They can't stand that Caitlyn became a household name in a way no UConn player ever did. And here's the kicker. Back to the commissioner. Kathy's got a board above her that can pull the plug on her job anytime. Guess who's on that board? The same UConn Mafia. They're sitting up there pulling strings, making sure nothing moves unless they say so. They're everywhere. Man, everywhere. I've never seen such resentment. It reminds me, for example, nobody cared about soccer in the 70s till Kleck came here. Next thing you know, you had 77,000 people at Giant Stadium. No one tried to kill Kleeway. Yeah, they played him harder, but they said, thank you. Even the opponents, my goodness, everybody's salary jacked up. David Beckham comes to the MLS. They had a bigger crowd at his press conference that they had most MLS games. There was my goodness, this 32-year-old superstar brought all the stardom to this league. There was some people wanted to look good against him, but they didn't resent him. But here's this woman who comes into this league as legitimate rookie. She is up viewership up highest in 20 years. So the ratings are up highest in 200%. They're up. Attendance is up 14% year-over. It's even over last year's records. And now all of a sudden, people are looking at this league because of this crazy meme coin. These idiots started throwing sex toys onto the court to get heat around their meme. And it worked because this meme coin, when they found out who this was on Friday, started rocketing up in terms of value. Okay. Well, Brian wanted to take it into PG-13 territory. So, let's go with that. You teased this whole piece. I know. And the thing is that I had to sit through a Gutfeld segment, and we were, talking about it, and they're making us sales are up 400% of WNBA jerseys just because of her presence. But her presence is resented by about 80% of the other players. Well, we spent so much time though talking about the drama, and the Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese drama goes back to their Iowa LSU days, so it's not like that was new. However, we've also seen other players have this like mean girl behavior in the WNBA. Is that something that was happening already? We just didn't know about it because now we're paying attention, or has that just self-generated? I don't know if there was another superstar in the league. Cheryl Swoops or Rebecca Lobo early on when it first launched that people really resented them because they had just won the BS Olympic gold in '96. They took that momentum and formed the WNBA. We kind of knew Lisa Leslie, Jen Rosati, we knew Rebecca Lobo, and we knew UConn was selling out 18,000 over. All of a sudden, women's sports were mattering. They go to the Olympics, they get gold, they launch this league, and it just fell like a rock. They were unable to sustain the momentum. I'm not sure it was happening because they had nobody to resent as much as they did this kid from Iowa who went to Indiana and revitalized the sport. It's one of the craziest storylines I've had a chance to cover. Look, the WNBA has screwed itself on this deal, in my opinion. You're right, they've been subsidized by the NBA since their beginning. They had a great starting point with Rebecca Lobo with all of this. Listen to me. This civil rights thing, it's getting real now. I'm not talking rumors. I'm not talking whispers. It's on Fox News. You hear what I'm saying? Fox News. What's next? CNN. I told y'all before, man, Donald Trump is going to have no choice but to step into this mess. And the second he does, it's going to blow up hotter than World War II for the WNBA. No cap. Caitlin Clark. She's already battling injuries, dealing with the rookie grind, and now all this is piling on top. It's looking spooky for the league. And you know what? I'm glad they're cranking up the heat. I'm glad people are finally talking because this conversation should have been happening last year. I told y'all from day one I was going to be one of the main ones keeping an eye on this, tracking every single development, every twist, every turn, and I'm not letting up until it all comes to light. Hop in the comments. Let me know what y'all think about this. And make sure those bells are on because I'm not missing a beat on this.